everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Triple Clowns. Very exciting edition today. We finally have him on. Finally. Big Money Mike Smith coming on the show.
Finally. Mike Smith has come to the Triple Clowns.
Yes, yeah. We had a great conversation with him a couple days ago, and we're excited to share that with you. It's me, G. Randall Johnson. Always here on the side of me is, well, sometimes always, I guess that'd be the word. Mrs. Big News, Sarah Marie, and the Truck Stop Burrito, AJ Ryder. And we are the Triple Clowns from D-Gen Nation. So make sure you hit that like, subscribe, leave a comment. That'll help us out a lot. All those things on the bottom. And support us over there at D-Gen Nation. They support us, so you support us as well. All right?
So there you
Big
go.
Community of support.
Yes, absolutely. No, but it will help out a lot. Shout out to everybody out there new to us with D-Gen Nation. And we're going to keep doing our thing and do a little bit more, hopefully. So let's get right on to the news before we bring you Big Money Mike. Mr. Big News, what's going on?
All right, first off, we're going to start off with Hall of Fame jockey Calvin Burrell. He was arrested for a DWI.
Classic.
Down in Hot Springs, Arkansas. He was released on a $1,000 bond. He was out in Hot Springs visiting his horses. Now, mind you, this is his second offense. He got a DUI back in 2019. So as far as the laws in Arkansas go, they are pretty strict with the second time offense within 5 years. But here's the thing, he could get 7 days to a year, depending on how the judge feels. Or if the judge feels in favor of Calvin, he could just get community service.
Can you still ride a horse? You're allowed to ride a horse? Like, you can't like operate a motor vehicle. But
yeah.
It's a horse motor vehicle.
That's an interesting comment there.
Well, I do know there are, there's that website with like funny laws per state. In Colorado, it is illegal. You can get a DUI while riding a horse drunk.
Well, you can get a DUI for driving under the influence of any, like if you're riding a bike.
Or a lawnmower.
A lawnmower.
But this is a horse.
Yeah.
Who gets arrested riding? Well, if you're riding a lawnmower in a public place where
That's
you could be arrested, you probably are drunk. And what about a golf cart? How many drunk people on golf carts?
In Florida, how many DUIs on golf carts?
You could just go hand out DUIs at the end of the month for your cop.
I want to be a golf
cart.
Who
needs to meet a quota? Just go out to the golf course and do it.
Yeah, like
well, I would imagine it's private. It's private property, so I would think that there's got to be,
I don't know. I mean, if I drive drunk around
I would imagine to go out to a golf course to do that, you'd need like a warrant because it's private property.
Yeah, but what about a supermarket? Can I drive around the parking lot drunk and they can't pull me over?
That's still private property by the owner, whoever owns that land.
Why would you just drive around a parking lot?
Let's get drunk and drive around the Walmart parking lot. Yeah, my life's exciting.
Yeah.
Join me.
All right, let's go on.
I have a lot of friends.
So he got arrested. Let's move on.
So, but he's out. But let's talk a little bit Belmont. This is the week. This is Belmont week, the final leg of the Triple Crown.
Nice.
Good almost slipped that. Yeah. I tried really hard there. So far, the field is looking about 9 deep. So the horses as your probables right now are Essential Quality, Hot Rod Charlie, Known Agenda, Rock Your World, Rombauer, Rebels Romance, Bourbonic, Keep Me in Mind, Overtook, and Francisco de Ina. Those are the 9 probables so far. Now, Get Her Number is going to be running at Lone Star this Monday. Brooklyn Strong just decided to skip it with no set rates in its future, and Promise Keeper is actually aiming for the Ohio Derby in June. So that is our 9-horse field. They are doing the draw Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time, which you can check out the draw here, right here. We're coming at you live with Chip Gerke, so make sure you tune in for that. But those are our Belmont probables so far. We'll see how this week kind of plays out. If there's any possible coming in, if there's any scratches, you'd never know.
Just thinking of a name for Dr. Derby because we had the Preakness practitioner, and I need to be anybody out there. Forgive me, a B. Belmont.
Good one.
Belmont.
Biologist? Belmont biologist?
Yeah, that was the first one that came in, but that doesn't make sense. It's not a doctor.
Well, it could be a doctor.
Could be.
Well, but not like an actual,
PhD?
MD.
MD. PhD on it. Yeah.
We gotta figure this out.
Belmont. I'm gonna Google it and see if I can find anything.
Okay, well, why don't we move on before we do that? Anybody out there, let us know.
All right. Yeah, let us know in the comments below for a name for Chip for the Belmont. But that's our news. It is fairly light on the news as everything's focused on how these horses are working out at Belmont and Santa Anita. As, Hot Rod Charlie is working out here, but Lava Man is going to go with him this time. So we'll get to see Lava Man again as his lead out. But we had quite the weekend, quite the Saturday of stakes races. We are just going to talk about the graded stakes. So we'll start off at Churchill with the grade 3 regret stakes where Gam's Mission came in, followed by Spanish Love Affair and Flown.
They're off the turn. They're into the stretch. Spanish Love Affair set down for the drive. Flown is flying up alongside. Gam's Mission coming with a resolute rally. Barista's in between them. Oyster Box from far behind is flying down the crown of the course. Here comes Gam's Mission and Flown and Spanish Love Affair. Oyster Box is fourth. Down to the finish. Gam's Mission won it. Gam's Mission from off the pace catches Spanish Love Affair late.
I don't know if you guys have anything to say on this race.
Well, I'm looking at types of doctors right now, but I did pick that horse, so
Yes, you did.
So suck it.
Let's move on to the grade 3 Matt win, where Folsom took the obvious win there, followed by Obesos and Helium.
Bezos short lead, Helium toward the rail. Folsom continues to close down the center of the track. There's 1 furlong to go, and Folsom strikes the front at the 8th pole. It's Folsom in front by 2. Bezos back into second. Helium is third, sitting on go and ready to pounce. There's a 16th left, and Folsom is flying to the finish. Folsom from last to first in the Matt win.
Helium led the field, but then kind of faded in the stretch, and Folsom just kind of made his move. That was a very interesting duel in the stretch between the 3 horses.
The try must have paid about $3.
Yep. It was very chalk, but and on our pick show, it was kind of hard. You couldn't have left Folsom off your ticket, nor Helium really. But let's move over to Belmont, where you guys gave out picks for the late pick 5 at Belmont. They did have the grade 2 Pennine Ridge Stakes, where Sainthood.
Oh, the Panini Ridge, you mean?
The Panini Ridge, the best kind of panini you can order. So Sainthood, the Reds, and Shoddy.
Sainthood is running in second, and Shorty is in third. The Reds is the leader with 1/8 of a mile to the finish. Sainthood continues to battle on. Now a 16th out. Sainthood trying to come back again on the inside of the Reds. It's Sainthood and the Reds. They come on for the finish, and Sainthood is going to do it in the off-the-turf Pennine Ridge Stakes.
Yeah,
Got it.
because we did talk about the fact of, they were off turf.
Yeah.
A turf race, and
Very
a lot
sloppy
of them
day.
left. So I guess that question of, do you go in anyway? No, it looks like. But now you got a stakes win with how big was that field at the end of the day? 5 horses?
Like 4 or 5. It was not.
And now you got
four.
Sainthood. You're like, wow, sweet, stealing a grade, 1.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, I think we both kind of talked about Sainthood being on our ticket, regardless of whether it was on turf or dirt.
Yeah.
On the show. I mean, he was clearly, what was he like 2-1 morning line? Even on.
No, it was like 4-1 morning line.
Was
The other
it?
one
Was it the high?
5. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty.
It
It was a pretty clear single after the move off of the turf. So
yeah.
it wasn't super shocking.
But it was a very, very sloppy day at Belmont.
As is today.
As is today. They're having
Yeah,
quite the
Monmouth
weekend.
must be. We're taping
Monmouth
Sunday, by
is
the way.
sloppy.
for everybody
Delaware's
out there.
sloppy.
We like to talk about what's going on today, and they won't watch this till tomorrow, the next day. So what do you mean? It's
There you go.
raining?
He's looking out their windows like, no, it's not. Liars. All right, but let's move to Santa Anita, where we never see rain. We have the grade 3 Daytona Stakes, where Bombard took the lead, followed by Majestic Eagle and Commander.
Half length back in second. Commander is finishing strongly in the center of the course, trying to get by Bombard. Commander on the outside. Law-abiding citizen is in between them. It's Bombard just in front. Commander, and now a late run from Majestic Eagle on the outside, but Bombard too strong. Bombard wins the Daytona.
And when Bombard took the lead in that race, he did not let it go.
We never see rain or full fields.
No, we don't.
Two things you don't see in Southern California.
If you ever want to hit the all button, Santa Anita's the place you'd want to do it
place
at.
to do it.
Not going to cost you much.
Yeah, Bombard, another,
Now,
steals the race.
yeah.
Who trains Bombard?
That's a good question.
I didn't see
don't
it.
have up. All right. We'll move on to the grade 2 Whittingham Stakes, where award winner won by a head, where Acclimate and Red King came in, which that race was really tough. Acclimate took the lead and at the last second lost by a head. It was a very tough duel in the stretch there by those two. Award winner just got ahead by a head.
Acclimate still strong on the front end. Award winner, United not really firing, passed by Red King, a 16th to go, and award winner is overhauling Acclimate. Acclimate fights back, but award winner has the edge close to home, and it's award winner and Juan Hernandez to win the Charlie Whittingham.
Yeah.
Did we figure out who's the trainer of Bombard?
Mandela.
Andella, all right.
Mandela, yeah.
Then the last graded stakes at Santa Anita was the grade 2 Triple Bend, where the higher odds Baffert horse won that race. We always talk about that on their show. If there's two Baffert horses, play the higher odds one. He had Magic on Tap, followed by Shooter Shoot, and then Exalted.
They arrive at the 8th pole, and Magic on Tap quickly puts him away. In the center of the track, Shooter Shoot is finishing strongly. Has to get to Magic on Tap. Magic on Tap or Shooter Shoot. Magic on Tap, a length and a half to Shooter Shoot, and Magic on Tap has won the Triple Bend. Convincing.
Baffert also had 8 rings, which was 8-5 going off at post, and Magic on Tap was 5-1. So
Yeah, 8 rings didn't look right. Yeah, that's a shame. The best horses weren't in that race, definitely. For a 6 furlong race, 7 furlong
7
race in
furlong.
grade 2, you really missed a lot of good California horses there. Because I believe, well, Flagstaff, we're going to see what happens with him because he did pop for last year's race. So
he did. Not a whole lot of details have come out about that yet, but
does Flagstaff get mad at his age and be like, you know what? I'm done. Screw this.
Does he get mad at the trainer? Because he's like,
Just gets mad at like racing.
Everybody.
now. Like 7 years old. He's like, I won. Now you're going to
just let me
disqualify
be.
from
Let me
something.
retire.
like, yeah, I've had this great career, and now you're gonna do this and this ticky tack bullshit. You're gonna run me around this Mickey Mouse fucking programs of drug testing. Like, yeah, it's fuck it. Like, what? Screw it. You need me more than I need you. So
It's like, was it Pollard when he retired from football? When he was just like, you know what? I can't hit anymore. You're not letting me hit. I'm out. That's it. I'm done.
Screw you, I'm out.
Yeah,
I can't even touch a quarterback anymore. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, I was like, I'm
Yeah.
out of here. I made my
Yeah.
money.
I made my money, done my thing. Good.
Maybe.
Yep. But that is all the stakes race.
There it is. Flagstaff would be a good one for
you
straight from the horse's mouth.
Exactly. Yeah. We could do that one. That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
All
right. So that's it.
That is it. We have a big week coming up. Like I mentioned, we're going to go live for the Belmont Draw Tuesday morning. Catch us on both the DGen YouTube, Triple Clowns YouTube, as well as the Triple Clowns Twitter page. And obviously, we're going to be doing our pick show.
Yeah, pick show coming up. It'll be exciting. We'll do Belmont with a lot of the people you've seen before on the show. If you're new, you'll
We
see
have a
lot
lot
of
of
cool
great
people.
handicappers,
Yeah.
professional handicappers. So we're excited to have them on and show us how wrong we most likely always are.
So speaking of professionals,
Yeah.
let's bring
Sounds
them.
like you guys want to jump the shark and end the show now. No, we got a big.
No,
we got the best part coming up.
Yeah. So for everybody that fast forwarded through that nonsense,
Good for
we'll
you.
put the
Bring 'em
time
on.
code on now.
Let's bring them on. The one, the only.
Mike Smith. Well, guys, we have a very special guest. As Ryan Dickey would say, the most specialist guest we
Specialist
have,
guest,
I think he would
yes.
say.
But for real this time.
Yeah, but
But for real this time.
For real, I
for
know.
real this time. But we are the one of the only, I feel like I don't even need to say anything besides the most grade 1 wins. And that is the man, the myth, the legend, big money, Mike Smith. Mike, thank you so much for coming on. Welcome to Triple Clown Show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely. So we'll get right into it, Mike. I know you got a busy week coming up. Obviously, every weekend's probably busy for you, but obviously going into Belmont, it's going to be a busy week for you. So let's go into it. Everybody out there, I'm sure they know a lot about you, but so when did Mike Smith want to become a jockey and how did this happen? this trip?
Really, I was raised on a ranch in New Mexico, where we had a lot of horses and of course cattle and everything else you could possibly think of. And my uncle trained horses. My father rode a little bit at one point, and both my grandparents on both sides of my family were involved in racing a little. And I didn't grow big enough to play any other sport, but I was blessed enough to love horses and stay, light enough anyway to become a jockey. So I started at a really young age. I mean, I decided by the time I was, I don't know, 8, 9 years old, I was going to ride. I was going to be a jockey, and I already knew how to. I grew up riding horses, so that part wasn't a whole lot of a problem. It was just learning how to ride a racehorse and how to sit in an exercise saddle and a jockey saddle, and that was pretty much it. I started riding match races at a pretty young age. I think I was probably about 11 or 12 years old when I started riding match races. So I was already I hit the ground running. I was blessed to be around in an area that you could ride all the time. And we had the horses that were necessary to teach me how to ride.
That's unbelievable. 11 years old. But just think, Mike, you were 7 years older than the jockeys in, where was that?
Oh, the Philippines.
The Philippines. You were
no, in the Philippines.
Oh yeah, but
It was the Middle East, yeah. But
yeah.
I do have a question for you, Mike, because you said you grew up in Mexico, and I know for a fact. Well, hold on. So 1,600,000 Grade 1 wins, and you happen to have grown up outside of Roswell, New Mexico. Are you an alien?
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, we got to get this out of Mike.
Yeah, I there's been times I certainly look like one. I got the bald head, and I had hair early on, and all of a sudden it did fall off. So maybe my father is alien. Maybe I'm part. I don't think I'm full blood alien. I just think I might be a little half Mexican, Irish, and alien.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad
Alien
genes,
mix.
I guess, right?
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Mike Smith is actually an alien mix.
Part alien.
Yeah, I got my DNA. I did my ancestry thing, and it was part of it to come back pretty blurry. So maybe that was a part.
Yeah. Mars wasn't part of it.
Yeah.
He had the FBI contacting him at that point.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Never a dull moment here, let me tell you. I bet this week coming up at Belmont, no one's going to ask you if you're actually an alien, Mike. So, we'll
but they'll think it. But they'll think it.
Well, let's get into that in a second because of obviously your length of your career. But I just want to know, at 11 years old, and I ask all the jockeys we talk to this, how do you get, like, you talk to your parents, you say, okay, I want to do this crazy, dangerous sport. Kids don't like their kids playing like football at 11. You know what I mean? Like, let's just let them play soccer. Let's throw them on a horse.
Yeah.
Well, I was also in a rodeo school, in a bull riding school at the age of 9. So I think my mother probably thought being a jockey was safer than being a bull rider.
Yeah. I might have to agree with her on that one.
I never did do very well on bulls, but I certainly tried it for a little while, and a lot of my friends that I grew up with went on to be world champions, so it was pretty cool.
I used to want to be a rodeo clown. Then I realized that was really crazy.
But, you know what? Those guys are tough, man.
That's why I didn't do it.
Randy's not so tough.
No, I'd be done one time.
Yeah.
I'm good. Bulls chasing you. Look at me, I'm a clown. But no, Mike, so you tell your parents, you go, and then you go on a stretch of, you kind of were, which everybody was, I don't want to say a journeyman because that sounds bad, but you went to, you actually raced in Chicago. AJ was in Illinois for a while.
I rode in Chicago early on in my career. I was, I rode the Arlington Park meet. Well, Hawthorne meet was the first one I rode at, and then, moved into Arlington's for a season, maybe 2. But about that time, I was also, of course, you follow the circuit, and I was going into Kentucky quite a bit, and other places, Nebraska, Oklahoma, I mean, you name it, Minnesota, all around that whole area there until the winter of '89. And that's when I was doing really well at the time and got an offer to head up to New York and thought I'd give it a go and see what the Big Apple had to offer, see if I could break in there and see what happened. And started out, with a really big winter meet over there, and it just continue to carry on through. The game plan was for me to come back after the winter because everyone migrates back into New York after the winter meet. They come back in from Florida. And of course, it gets extremely tough then. So the idea was to go ahead and get my feet a little wet, in the wintertime, and then maybe come back the following winter and do it again, and then stay. But man, I got a New York and me just, man, we fit like a glove, and man, I couldn't leave that place.
I don't blame you.
We just left it a couple of years ago. We were in Queens, so
I want to go back.
Sarah wants to go back.
Yeah, it really worked out for me, and I was so glad that I stuck it out because I got to learn so much. I was blessed, of course, to ride all the great riders that were there at the time, and Cordero and Velasquez and Bailey and man Santos. I mean, the list goes on and on. But Eddie Maple, there was some incredible riders back there, and so I got to learn so much off of so many different people. That I was really glad I stayed because they went through a little bit of a period there where it was a little bit of a struggle, but man, I was learning so much. I'm a sponge and a half, man, and it was just all coming to me, and it didn't take long before you knew it. I was back doing really well again, and wind up having just a career in its own out there in New York for a while. I did really well there for quite a while. I actually got inducted into the Hall of Fame while I had just left. It was the first year that I left New York, but New York gave me a Hall of Fame career, and I came out to California, and they gave me another one.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, how did you feel like you look back at when you were a jockey there in New York and think that you're so much better like now, or was there a point in your career where you're like, this is where I'm the best, or you the best right now? Or you look back at it and go, wow, I was really still learning, even though I was great. Or was it like just your rides or whatever it might be?
Yeah, I think we all look back at some of our old tapes and videos, and then I'm sure you guys look back on your career starting out early on, and you're like, man, I said too much, or this too much, or that too much, or this, It's the same way with riding, the same way with football players, baseball, basketball, tennis. I mean, you go back and you're so athletic back then because you're young and you have so much energy. But, I didn't know half the stuff that I know now. I'm blessed to know now. Experience is an amazing thing in anything you do in life, right? I mean, it's great to have. And the only way you get it is through, all these ups and downs, man. And you learn so much. And the good thing I did early on in my career was instead of going out and playing golf with all my buddies, on our days off, and I became a gym rat at a very young age and just made it a way of life. And I work out at least 5 to 6 days a week. And so while they're out golfing, I was in the gym and running and trying to get fitter and stronger and faster. And it's paying off. And I'm in my 50s now. And as far as record goes on what I have on my trainers, my training sheets, man, I can still do what I was doing in my 30s. So
that's great.
I'm hanging in there, man.
Knock on wood.
With your job, I mean, your job's not exactly like you get beat up. I mean,
it's one of the most dangerous jobs.
Yeah, and it's physical no matter what. I mean,
and that's a big part of it. If you can stay healthy, a lot of guys that probably had to retire before their 50s is because of getting hurt. It's usually most of those guys, if they wouldn't have, gotten hurt, they probably still would be around. I know Lafitte, I just had dinner with him the other day, Pinkai, and he's getting close to, is he 80 yet? And I swear that guy could ride a horse right now. He looks the same. He's just amazing. And he's one that I really looked up to at a very young age and was really into taking care of yourself and taking vitamins and working out and taking all this stuff and supplements and really taking care of your body. And so I just pretty much copied him and it's working. I mean, the guy's, I don't want to say he's older than what I want to say, so I don't want to mess up on his age. You can probably Google it, but whatever it is, I mean, he looks like he's got the body of a 40-year-old. I swear he could ride right now if he had to, but he was, when he got hurt that last time, he broke his neck and he can't afford to ever land there again, so he can't ride. But I guarantee you this guy would have rode into his 60s easy.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Mike, what do you think? Does this cross your mind at all? Like when you go through a season, like after a Breeders' Cup or something, and say, maybe this is it? Do you have a plan for that, or are you just playing it by ear?
God has a plan for it. I pray about it, and it just tells me to be patient, man. If you're having fun, enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
exactly.
I think you're newly married, so sometimes that adds into it a little bit, you know.
Yeah. I'll ride until, as long as I feel like I can contribute, and I feel like I'm still going out there and can compete with the best of them and help, and not hurt, the horse and the connections and still be able to. Hell, I'm not gonna retire till Tom Brady retires. I'm gonna wait.
Okay, so you heard it here. Mike Smith is not retiring until 75.
Yes.
As long as I'm blessed to look, I don't ride near as many as I used to, and a lot of that is by design. I'm still competitive, so I still want to ride, probably more than I am right now. But my agent kind of says, relax, man. You're doing well. You're doing fine. We're gonna try and just stay on the good ones and go from there. And so I'm glad I have him. His name is Brad Pegman. He does a tremendous job. He's got me and Flavie and Pratt right now. So he's doing real well. And as long as he keeps me on these involved in these big days like the Belmont coming up, well, man, there's just nothing else like it. I mean, I can't get this sitting at home watching it on TV. It doesn't feel the same, I mean, it's just about having the best seat in the house, and that's on top of one of them. So, I want to keep that best seat as long as I can.
Yeah, I'll take your word for that. I think the best seat is watching it. But
yeah.
I don't ride.
I don't have the guts to do what you do. No way.
You guys do. If you grew up doing it, you would. Trust me.
Yeah.
I get more nervous doing what you guys do than what I do. So I mean, it's all the same,
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Speaking of that, so and I know everybody always wonders this. You've created this, being as good as you are, and the dues you paid, and winning all these races. So now, is it like a week of Mike Smith? Like, is it just the agent calls you and just says, like, do you have that with him? Do you call him up and say, I really like this horse? How does that go? Or you just sit back and just wait for the phone to ring?
Yeah, it's a little both. I'll with COVID this year, no one was able to go out and do your morning routines like you were supposed to, but it's starting to open up now. So I'll start going out a little more and seeing, I'll see him out at the track. Like I said, he represents Flavie and Pratt as well, Flavie and Pratt. So he's pretty busy out there in the mornings. But okay. We talk. We talk. Yeah, he's great young rider. It's incredible. But we talk. Especially after each and every day that we race, we talk. And then if there's something that I need to do, or if I need to come out and work one, well, he'll give me a call the night before and give me what we need to do and let me know who it's for, what time, and stuff like that. But we still talk quite a bit. If I see a horse that caught my eye somewhere else or something, I'll ring him up or shoot him a text, let him know, hey man, did you see such and such run at, Florida or Gulf, or Kentucky or New York? And yeah, and it's just, I'll always put our name in the hat, so he'll say, hey, Mike really like the way the horse looked or whatever. And that way, at least they always know you're interested, and the next thing you know, you're picking up horses here and there. It's a game that we agents play a big part of, as well as owners. And man, I picked up great horses just sitting in a bar somewhere sometimes. I mean, it's crazy. It can happen anywhere at any time.
Well, I'm pretty sure if I was a horse owner and an agent called me saying, hey, Mike Smith wants to jump on your horse, that would be an extremely easy answer to have.
Well,
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've picked up a few girls.
There's probably, everyone else is doing their job, but it's caught their eye as well. So I mean, all of a sudden, next thing you know, this guy's got 10 jocks that want to ride his horse all of a sudden, or it's vice versa. If you happen to, be doing really well and catch on fire, well, of course, you become more in demand, and people want you as well. So, you got to have a good agent to take care of all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that your name is Mike Smith must make his job a lot easier.
Exactly.
Well, to spell it certainly does. It's pretty easy to spell.
You'd hope so.
It's true, actually. A lot of those jockeys do have tough names to spell.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy with Mike Smith, about the most common name in the world. I guess it's a debate between Smith and Jones.
But he's a Jones and I'm a Johnson. So.
Well, John, you got more letters in your name. See,
that is true. That's true. I get messed up with the HN part sometimes myself.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, because it's like you feel like Mike Smith's like the guy that walks in the room and like you put all this work in. AJ, you know what I mean? like you're the guy who was friends with this girl for a long time, and finally you're gonna date her. And here comes like this Mike Smith walks in the room like the big giant quarterback from the football team and asks her to the prom, and you're just like, damn it, Mike Smith called. Like,
well, yeah, something like that. I guess that's kind of some sort of an outlet. It's kind of fun, but trust me, we've all been there, haven't we?
Absolutely, yeah.
Pecking order, you take your turn, you know, and
I've never had somebody in the football team come in and take my prom date. I just want to say that.
Sure. But you're a big looking guy, so you're all right. I'm a little small dude, man. You know, I got to keep these pants on, or no one even pays attention.
Yeah. He was also
pants I'm talking about.
He was also 24 years old at the time of the prom, so he was the biggest kid. So.
It made it easy.
Creepy and illegal, but that's all right.
Yeah.
No, but speaking of that, and I know everybody's going to want to know this. And so when you get on concert tour, we'll talk about that for a second. So you get on concert tour. Was that something already in agreement with the concert tour thing because of, you know, Bob, and I don't know, like, because Rosario was on concert tour before, right? And then I believe.
Yeah. So, you know, you'd have to ask Bob exactly what he's thinking. He's a coach as well, you know, so, you know, he might want to change players. And what the great thing about Bob, if he thinks for whatever reason I was going to fit him on that day better than he was on that day, he's going to do the best thing for his owners and for him, which is, it's important to do, you know, I mean, but just because he takes you out doesn't mean Joel's off. He just put him on the bench for a play, man. You know, he's going to call him back in, you know, so it's not, you got to learn just to take that, learn to sit down and not get yourself kicked off the team, you know, because you never know, you'll turn right back around and you're right back in again.
Yeah.
But he felt that I would fit the horse a little bit. You know, he turned out to, you know, his last two races, of course, hadn't been near as good as what he looked like in the Rebel, you know, before the Arkansas Derby. I mean, he looked like the superstar, he looked like the horse to ride. And I'm not really sure I could have even stayed on Midnight Bourbon, you know, because I'd called him right after the race and asked him if they'd planned on moving forward with him to the Preakness. If so, I was interested in staying on him, of course. You know, I mean, I actually really liked him a lot. When I got off him in the Derby, we had such a rough trip leaving the gate. And I told Steve, I said, this horse has a big chance to win one of these, you know, these next two coming up. He's going to miss the Belmont, of course, but he ran a great race in the Preakness, but they didn't know at that moment if they were gonna run him back or not. So they said they'd get back to me and let me know. Well, in the meantime, you know, Bob, my agent, had talked. He said, hey, you can write concert tour now, but I need to call now. I need to know because I'm going to make a change, you know. And so, of course, you know, going in before the Derby, you would have thought concert tour would be one of the favorites, you know, if not the favorites. So we took him, you know, because, you know, the window of opportunity was very, very small. And if we didn't take him, someone else was. And then if they don't decide to run or they decide to put someone else on Midnight Bourbon, then I'm out, you know. So we just took the for sure thing right off the bat. You know, the only downfall on the whole thing is concert tour just didn't run his race at all. As a matter of fact, his last two times, I'm kind of starting to think we call him the COVID horse. You know, there's a lot of these horses hadn't been around a crowd at all. Yeah. And so the first time that concert tour was around a crowd was in the Arkansas Derby, and he got a little hot and a little worked up. And then the other day at Pimlico, he did the same thing except magnified times 10. Man, by the time he come out of the saddling enclosure to go into the infield, he was just so uptight. I just think the whole crowd just got him spooked, and he just ain't used to. Some horses handle it well, and that's the thing about the Derby. Even back in the day before COVID, a lot of horses just melt down in the high pressure situations with the crowd and everything around them and all of it. They just don't handle it well. And right now he's just not handling it all that well. So, you know, they're going to slow down, back up and regroup and start over with him. But the ability is certainly still there. You just got to get him mentally back where he needs to be. That's all.
I did hear, and you could probably speak truth of it because I heard you said it to somebody, but it was a third person, I think, somebody that you knew right away that he wasn't feeling right, like not like he was.
Well, I mean, he was just so uptight. He had already basically run his race before we'd even gotten to the gate. You know, I was just wishful thinking, you know, hope, praying that you know, that he would come out of there and everything would be all right. But and not that anything was wrong. He had just melted. Energy level was already, going the wrong way. And by the time we got into the clubhouse turn, the first turn, I was already having to ask him to keep up, and that's not a good sign.
No, absolutely. No, that's very interesting. We'll ask you about the Belmont coming up because you have an exciting ride on that one. But first, do you want to ask? Well, if you guys have any questions for him before we ask the 6 questions.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I do want to talk about a horse that's not Belmont. As time goes by, let's talk that horse, because I feel like that horse has just kind of really like shocked the world with how he's racing.
She's doing well. We were able to pull it off the other day and win one. We were spotting the other horse quite a bit of weight, and from her previous race, she had run so big and fast and won by so much. Bob had kind of backed off on her a little bit, so she's a real big frame mare, and she gained a little weight on us, so she'll get a lot out of this last race. The filly that ran second to her ran a big race that day to be second to her, and I mean it was about as close as you want it to be honest with you. But the further you go with as time goes by as well, the better you're going to see her be, and she's got a really high cruising speed with a lot of stamina to back it. And so you'll see her bigger races coming a mile and 8, even further if there happens to be one for filly mares,
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a beautiful horse to watch.
She's gorgeous. She actually is. She's really pretty, and she's built more like a colt. She's big. There's probably not a colt out there that's too much bigger than her, I would say. She's a pretty strong girl.
Yeah.
Can tell. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just, is there a horse out there that you've ridden that you miss riding? Like, I know that has retired, but like, is there, you're like, oh, that was such a good time, like whether it be like on a Zenyatta or something.
Probably.
Well, yeah, I think she'd be one that we'd all say we missed watching and running and getting the opportunity to ride her. Because not only, again, getting back to where I was talking about having the best seat in the house. I mean, it was the best seat in the house getting the chance to be on her, because I was just a fan as much as anyone else's during the races. As I was riding her, I would be in awe of what she could do. I would just be like, well, I forget I'm riding her sometimes. I mean, she was pretty fun to ride. She's all over my wall, my office in here.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, I miss her a lot, but there's a lot of them I miss a lot. Those good ones, man, let me tell you something, man. They're just different. They're really special, and you don't ever realize how good they really are until you don't get that opportunity to ride them no more. And I look around my office sometimes in my trophy room and was blessed to have ridden so many good, and I miss every single one of them every time I look at a picture.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. So let's get into it, because that's kind of one of the questions we always ask. Is that so? First question is, which one do you do first? Track? Yeah.
No.
AJ does them now because he remembers them.
Go ahead, AJ.
All right, Mike. Who is your favorite horse running right now?
Oh, running right now? Huh. Well, I ride Charlington, although he's a little bit on the shelf right now for a minute, but Charlington's a really exciting horse. Another one with filly we just mentioned, as time goes by, ride a horse from Mandela called Royal Shipman, who really starting to act like he's really coming around to what we think he can be. He was a superstar in his own country in Brazil, but wasn't quite that here, but now he's really starting to show that. He won his last time out, and I'm really looking forward to, as time goes by, to come back. Man, he's that horse is an athlete and a half, man. I mean, he's your Patrick Mahomes, he's your LeBron, he's your everything, man. I mean, he's that kind of horse. He's just that talented. Really thought that he had the 3-year-olds over a barrel at this point. I mean, he was the kind of horse I thought could do it, could win all 3 again. I wouldn't say pretty handy, but he was that kind of horse that he had that kind of ability that if things went right, he certainly could have gotten the job done. So hopefully he'll come back off of his minor surgery and have a big late year, and then I believe they plan on running him as a 4-year-old. So I'm excited about that.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm a big Charlatan fan.
Yeah, I love Charlatan. It was coming back from Saudi. He'll have a really good week, and then he just kind of just so and tails off a little. Bob don't want to run him until he's 100%. So he's gonna miss the races back east, and we'll just wait and see if we can get him ready for this summer meet and of course on into the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, definitely one of the favorites to watch for.
Yep.
If he's right, that's for sure.
AJ.
Okay, so out of everyone we've asked, this might be a little bit weird. Feel free to defer to a horse you've never ridden before. If you want, you can, just state that beforehand, and we'll write that down, and it's fine. Who's your favorite horse of all time?
Oh, of all time. I couldn't answer that.
Again, if you want to defer to a horse you haven't ridden before and give us an answer.
Oh man, I wouldn't even defer. I just love watching the great ones and how they do it, and that's in any sport, man. The great ones just make it just float, man. They make it look so easy. I just love watching great horses run, man. I love watching any horse run, period. But the great ones are just, my mouth still drops sometimes.
Yeah, that's interesting because you had so many of them. I mean,
Zenyatta will always be was an incredible ride, but along with her came a lot of pressure, that people don't understand, because she didn't lose, so it just kept. They went from being, wow, yeah, did you see that, to, whew, God, pull that one off. Oh, God. I can't let the fan. And she had such a big fan base. That was like the first time that I really thought about the people, like, I'm going to let so many people down, not just my connections and my, my trainers and the grooms and owners and everyone involved, but I mean, everyone felt like she was a part of they owned a part of her. There was a big high pressure situation every time she ran, man.
And it's women. And that's a lot of pressure.
When I get beat, man, I'm gonna just try and get down as low as I can or duck down, because I know someone's gonna shoot me off the back of her or something. They're gonna be very upset.
Yeah, there's one thing about pissing off like hundreds of men, and there's another thing about pissing off hundreds of women.
Yeah, I mean. Man, that's tough, man.
It's a whole different ballgame.
Oh yeah, you don't mess around with that.
She was fun to ride, man. She was just the engine she had. It was just incredible how she could catch horses. I just blinked my eye, and sometimes that she thought that was time to move, and she would take off. Like I literally have to ride her with not blink my eye, not move, because she.
I would imagine like you must have gotten nervous.
Every cue, man. If I move my tongue from one side to the other, she'd be like, "Whoa, time to go!" Man.
Were you ever nervous? Were you nervous back there? Because that's got to be like nerve-wracking, especially when she first started riding her, because she was always in last. So it must be.
It was strange though, as the more I got to ride her, that's where I wanted her to be really most of the time, because she would make up so much ground so quick, and if you got to them too quick, man, she just get to looking around and playing and just looking at, she thought it was over as soon as she caught the last horse. So that's why a lot of her races were so close. It wasn't because she couldn't draw away and win by 10. She could have, but she just got to the last one and she always thought that was good enough,
all you needed.
Yeah, relax back there, man. Yeah, we're fine, But yeah, I mean, and she was so big, I could see the whole field so easy from way back there. And man, I'm like I told you, as soon as I just dropped my hands on her and tell her now, man, she would literally catch them that quick. Most of them all the way up until her very, very last one, and even then she made up unbelievable ground that I don't think anybody else could have made up that much ground, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
AJ?
All right. So, weird one for jockeys. So, who's your favorite? And feel free to say yourself, because if you did, that'd be awesome. Who's your favorite jockey who's running right now?
Who's riding right now?
Feel free
my
to say
son will-
yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I got
Yeah, Mike.
little Drayden's like my son, you know. So man, when I watch him, it's kind of like it's more of like watching your son. So of course you root for him, you know, and you. So I love watching him ride. But I mean, there's some good riders out there, man. Back east, man, there's some really talented. There's some great guys up here. Flavien Pratt's one of our. I mean, there's no telling how good this guy's going to get. You know, I really, you know. I love watching jocks. One day I'd love to be some sort of a coach or something, because you know I've gotten to be around so much and see so much, and you know we actually don't have coaches. We're the only people in sports that don't have one.
Talked about that with Aaron Greider.
Yeah, there's sometimes, man, where I could just tweak this person just a little bit, or that person, and not that no, trust me, I'm not saying that I look like you're supposed to. There's some things I like to tweak about me. They just don't tweak anymore. But, you know, I could, you know, there's just things you see. I'd really like to do some stuff like that. I don't know what it would be, but, you know, not necessarily tell them how to ride a race, but just little things on how to look and what looks good and what doesn't. But man, I was blessed to have ridden with so many great riders, and you learn that there's so many different ways and different styles, man, that you can do things, man. It's just crazy. Some things fit some horses better than the others, and you got to learn how to do both. And when you become well-rounded that way, then you got more of a chance to fit in most horses anyway. You'll never fit them all, but you can fit most of them if you learn.
Well, it's weird. It's weird too, because I feel like, you know, we've talked to, you know, jockeys who are now agents, and I feel like that's kind of where that could go when you're the agent of a jock, where you could kind of also be that coach as well, especially a guy like you. I mean, that's.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly something I could do. Although I don't think I'd be I'm a good people person. I don't read the book well enough. So, I mean, I'd have to have a lot of strong business right off the bat.
Well, just have a partner who reads the book, and then
just hand it to me in my lap. Then I guess I'd be all right. But yeah, that's something I could do. I don't know what I'd do when I retire, to be honest with you. I think that the easiest transaction would be just to maybe go into a little bit of commentating and see how that went, see where it took me, if I was any good at it, if I enjoyed it.
You can be a fourth clown if you want.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on this show.
I'm sure he's going to rush into
it would be
retirement
something
for
like
this.
that. It would be some sort of radio, TV, commentating a little bit, maybe to start out with, and see where that took me. You know, see if I could, you know, because I mean, I have such a passion for what I do. I just can't imagine doing something and not have that kind of passion for it. I would have to have that. Otherwise, it's not going to push me and make me want to be better, you know?
Exactly.
So I'd like to see if I had that passion for it once I started. I wouldn't know until I start doing it, I guess. I've done a little bit of it and I enjoy it, but not enough to know if I'm really going to like it or not, if I'm even really any good at it. Some people just have a knack for it, man. They gotta, you know, I got more of a face for radio. that old saying, you know, but you know, once I you know, I mean, I should know what I'm talking about somewhat anyway. And
well, yeah.
So with all the time and experience, you know, I should have some decent insight, you know, to tell people and talk and keep them interested anyway.
I do think that coaching is going to start happening, because we have heard that. And I mean, look at quarterbacks have coaches. Like nowadays, like a high school kid has a quarterback coach. It's almost wrong to have a jockeys not have coaches, because it's like,
I mean, look, Tom Brady still has a quarterback coach.
Yeah.
Tiger
Woods has a swing coach, you know. Everybody has a coach. Jockeys don't.
Yeah, no, you know, and we rely on our elders, you know, the guys before us who are kind enough to want to help you, you know, and most of them are. Look, 98% of them are willing to help you. You have to be willing to ask for it and to listen, you know. And for me, that came really easy. I was probably never was the most talented or any of that starting out, but because I wanted to learn so bad, you know, that you know, and I would really pay attention and listen and watch, you know, everything. I mean, I could just about imitate anybody on a horse. Sometimes it's crazy, you know, just from watching so much. So, you know, that really helped me a lot. I mean, I learned so much from so many great riders, and I was able to become very close to a lot of them, and to this day, you know, they're still in my life, and they're still very, very good friends, more like family. And you know, it helps when you have people like that who have been there, and you know, you can take leaps and bounds, man, so quick when you learn from somebody like that, other than having to try and learn it all by yourself.
Mhm.
Sometimes you only go so far when you do that.
Yeah, I mean, but
Yeah.
what a trial and error sport. You know what I
Exactly,
mean? To
yeah.
be in. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's such a, you know, dangerous job. I mean, I know it's crazy, but you know, to have like, yeah, to be learning on the fly, because that's pretty much
Yeah.
what you guys do.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I like to still say that today I'm still learning. I think that's what keeps me wanting to keep doing it, is just striving for perfection. And although I know none of us will ever reach that, but man, every now and then you get pretty close and it feels good, you know. And so I try for that every time I ride. And when I don't achieve that, or don't feel like I give it my all, you know, I'm my own worst critic, you know, to be honest with you out there. But yeah, I mean, that's what still keeps me going today. I still feel like I'm learning, and honestly, I still feel like I'm getting better.
Okay, I feel like
Scary.
yeah, right. I feel like Mike Smith
That's
is
scary.
the guy that, and this is why you're so successful. If you really ask Mike Smith what his favorite Breeders' Cup win is, his answer will be the next one.
The next one that comes, yeah, and the next one after that.
Yeah.
Hopefully 2 or 3 on that same day.
Exactly. Like that's the thing. You ask these great players, like, what's your favorite championship ring? The next one. Like it's like those are, you know,
Yeah.
that's what keeps you going. And
Like
it also
that.
makes you crazy.
Yeah, well, it does, but it keeps you going. I mean, look at Tom Brady, man. I bet you this guy's already can't wait to try and win it again, man.
Yeah.
Imagine. You know, it's
Yeah.
pretty.
Well, that's kind of that's
look
the
at
big.
Phil last week, man. I mean, here's a guy at 50 just wins it.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Well, that's the big story on Tom Brady right now. He says, "I'd trade in 3 Super Bowl rings for that one perfect season." Like just chasing that perfection. Like that's what that's been the whole story this offseason.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, AJ, what's the next one?
All right. So again, feel free to say yourself because that'd be awesome. Who's your favorite jockey of all time?
Of all time? I've been so blessed to have ridden with probably the greatest era of riders. But I would say the era just before me, Eddie Arcaro. I was just fascinated with him. You never rode with him, of course. You know, he retired much, you know, before I started. You know, earlier than I started. But I was his friend. You know, so I got to you know, have dinner with him and sit and just listen to him talk. And I was like a little. I mean, I just couldn't keep my eyes off of him. And to this day, I always felt that way about him. It was really crazy. But I had my greatest mentor in my life probably would have been Pat Day, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
He
not
really,
not a bad mentor.
Yeah, he really he helped me a lot. You know, in life, period. He was really, still is to this day, a wonderful, wonderful guy. And of course, you know, my best friend in life is, you know, Gary Stevens, and you know, we fed off each other, me and him, and I learned so much off of him. Getting to ride with our, you know, Angel Cordero, and think coming out here with, you know, Lafitte, Chris McCarron, Eddie B. I mean, geez, come on, man. That era was just sick, dude. They'll never that's the Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kareem, you know, Larry Bird, man. That's that kind of, in the NBA, there'll never be another era like that. Well, there'll never be another era like I was blessed to just start in. You know, a lot of these guys that already were either in their prime or just starting to, you know, to kind of come out of it a little bit, you know, older and cutting back. But I got to see him, and I got to ride with most of them. You know, I got to ride with a great shoemaker, you know. So, man, I'm a smidgen of what those guys were.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, well, speaking of Eddie Arcaro, did he share any stories of Al Snyder? And the true disappearance of Al Snyder?
No, you know, I didn't talk to him about that.
We did a show about it.
But he shared a lot of great stories with me, though, man. They were amazing, man.
Oh, I bet. I
can
bet.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine getting that ride after your friend goes missing, citation. Oh,
Yeah, right. But
Yeah.
no, he didn't. He never did. We never brought that up.
He
Well,
built
because-
So we
this.
talked about a lot of things, man. We talked about a whole lot of things.
Well, there's a theory on that.
He's not
so
wanting to talk about that one.
There's a theory on that.
AJ thinks he's in hiding, and Eddie helped him hide.
Oh, he faked his own death 100%. No question. All right. So the last question I have before Sarah asks her favorite, and I'm kind of excited to hear this one. What's your favorite track?
Favorite racetrack? Anywhere I'm winning.
Well, that's a fair answer.
I've been to the most beautiful racetracks in the world. I have a shit race, and that whole thing is shit.
Right?
And I've been to
Screw this day.
I've been to the
this track.
dumps you ever had, and I ride a cat daddy race, and I'd be like, man, I love this place. I want to move here, man.
Arapahoe is great.
I love Charlestown, Arapahoe. I love all these places, man. I
I'm
love
bringing
them
my
all.
tack to Penn National. That's it.
I would always say the most excited I've ever been pulling up to a racetrack that I was going to compete at was the first time I pulled into Saratoga. Man, there was just something about it, man. Maybe it was just the time of my life at the age I was. And, the first time I got to come out to Santa Anita, man, geez, just look at it. Not to mention,
God, yeah.
I was probably more in awe of the people that were in the jocks room than the mountains that were Mount Wilson. I didn't even know there was a mountain there, to be honest with you. I was in awe of the guys I was going to get to ride against. Meant more to me than anything. But Santa Anita is just gorgeous, man. And there's a little gym, man, that I think it's an incredible racetrack. And if you've never been and you should go is Oaklawn Park. Man, I think Oaklawn's just a cool place, man. There's something about it that I just really, really like. And, the list could go on. There's nothing like Lexington, man. If you're going to want to ride on the beach, man, you go to Del Mar, man. that's pretty incredible as well. So they're all just amazing, and they really are. And I've been to just about every single one of them in the United States anyway, and a lot of them in other countries. But Saratoga would have been the one that lit me up the most the very first time I went there.
I wonder if there's a question out there that what track hasn't Mike Smith won on?
I could probably name a few of them. Trust me, I remember.
Those are the tracks he hates.
They're on my wall.
Yeah.
Right
That's
behind
why
me.
he didn't mention those.
Yeah.
He's got big marks through every track.
Like X's. Screw this track.
Yeah.
Never going back here. Never going back here.
It's never not going back. You're just going back with a little more horsepower, or did I screw that one up? The ones I really don't want to go back to is the ones that I messed up. Where I felt I was the cause of the beat. And man, he did it in front of them people. Like I said, I hate it when it has to do with something to me. When I've ridden all I could ridden and I got outrun. Look, I got outrun. I know I did my job, and I can hang my hat and shake my hand with everybody's hand, and it's fine. But boy, when I cost somebody something, man, I just can't stand it.
I'll tell you what, of all the tracks I've been to, and obviously you've been to much more than me, but I will say the fans, I could see riding in New York where everybody would guess that. I don't know how Philly Park is. I'm guessing that they're probably pretty crazy there, but New York, like Aqueduct in the winter, or like Belmont.
Yeah. They're tough. Yeah, they used to
Yeah.
be back in the day. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm still a big fan favorite in New York though, man. As soon as I go back, they still all holler, man. It's still pretty
Oh, yeah.
neat.
Yeah.
Oh, they love you. When they love you, they love you. When they hate
Yeah.
you,
They will let you know.
But they still
Yeah.
love you.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. When we went to Santa Anita after going to Belmont all the time, we came to Santa Anita, and it was just such like a, more of a, all right,
like
cheering
laid
for a
back,
second
everyone-
place. And
Yeah, no, I've been hit with a program. I've been hit with a rolled up form, and I've been hit with you name it, man.
Oh,
Yeah. Had beer thrown at me, on me.
Oh my God. God, they're vicious. Oh, welcome to New York. It's a
oh,
little rough.
all right, Sarah, what about your question?
All right, my question, I'm going to change it a little bit. I typically ask what's your favorite food or drink at a track, but I'm assuming you don't really get a chance to enjoy food and stuff at the track. So what is your go-to meal and drink when you're not racing?
You know, I love a great glass of red wine and a steak. You know, I'm a New Mexico, Texas boy, so steak's always going to be there as far as favorite food. And then I really got into wine, especially moving out to California. You really get into it, and so I love a great glass of wine.
Sounds like my perfect meal. I'm coming over for dinner.
That's what I'm having tonight, actually.
Yeah, there we go. What's your address again?
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Both of you.
That's funny. Yeah, so those are our questions. I just want to ask real quick. We know you're going to Belmont. And are you excited about this horse? This is obviously your first time on this horse. It's shipping over.
Yeah, Charlie Appleby, the trainer for Godolphin, called me up actually before the Derby. I want to say, because they weren't going to bring him to the Derby, and he said, "Look, I'm going to bring several horses to the Belmont, including this colt, Rebels Romance. Just keep me in mind. I know got to go through the
no pun intended.
Yeah, first two legs, but we want to use an American rider there for this little meet for that day coming up, and we're bringing 2 fillies in and another horse, and then of course Rebels Romance, and you can ride them all if you want. Just keep us in mind. But if you do choose something else, whoever we get, we're probably going to use them on all 4. We're trying to get the guy to ride all 4 of them, whoever it is, and so and it worked out where coming out of the Preakness Concert Tour, of course, didn't run no good, and I talked to Charlie actually the next morning. We talked. I said, "Man, you got me. If you still want me," he said, "You got it, man." So he's training well over there. I think he'll get the distance. Who he's beat, I mean, I don't guess we know, do we? I can't. It's hard to read their form back then. I don't know who he beat there in Dubai the last time out. If it was a tough group or not. Hard to say, but he's certainly bred well. He's a talented horse, and all of his racing's been watching him. The further he goes, the better. So I guess that's a good sign. So I'm looking forward to that. And man, it's always an honor to get to wear that Godolphin blue, man. It's
you won a couple times with those, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a certain colors that I don't know, kind of puff your chest up a little bit when you get the opportunity to wear them. Those are certainly one of them anyway.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Yeah.
And you guys know that Mike has a golden whip as well. And I wonder if he wanted to Drayden like Aaron did. You have a golden whip, right?
Oh, Drayden's got 2?
No.
You're talking about the Dubai, the World Cup? Yeah, I have one, yeah.
With probably the greatest race I've ever seen a horse run, I will say, in the last.
Yeah, there's man, Arrowgate. How good was that horse?
Oh,
Yeah.
Numbers wise, guys in age, I would say that I mean, when you say, if you looked at it numbers wise, just running a flat out mile and a quarter straight, I think numbers wise, he's probably got the highest number of any horse I've ever ridden anyway.
yeah.
I think he ran like 100 and was it a 28 or a 30
30.
something?
I think it was like a 32.
30.
Yeah, 31.
Yeah,
30,
it was. Yeah, it
35,
was like one of the highest of all time. Still
of all time.
Yeah.
And he got left. Man, how fast would he run if he got wiped out? Man, how fast would he run if he didn't get wiped out?
God, yeah.
I mean, he got wiped out, man.
That was amazing.
Still ran that fast that day. That's crazy, man.
And it's not like
It's
he
so
barely
sad.
won.
I wonder. We often wonder, like, after that race, I don't know if you guys remember. He kind of tailed off, and he just didn't really run that well his last 2 times that he got to run. And then, fast forward into his breeding career, and then he passes away at such a young age, and come to find out he had some sort of aneurysm or something on his, I don't know if it was his spine or his neck cord. You wonder if that was starting to happen. You don't get to see inside these horses, so you don't ever know. And all of a sudden, someone has some sort of an aneurysm or something, and that happened to him. I wonder if it was starting to come into play a little bit. No one ever knows. Because man, he didn't get the chance to ever run like that again.
Yeah,
But he was sick good, man. I mean, that horse could flat ass get it, man.
No, that was that. Yeah. I mean, he had 3 months of, we did this thing before where we had match races and the horses in their prime. And I'm like, I think people are losing it when you say in their prime, like their best time, like when they ran, like at their best, say it's Secretariat at the Belmont around that time. Arrogant at that time, that small window, maybe 3-4 months.
Yeah, there was nobody could beat him.
Yeah.
No,
Monster.
He was the fastest, man. He was the fastest. There's, I was gonna tell you, there's one race though I haven't won that I would love to have won. It was early on in my career. It was a race that it's my favorite. That's the Arlington Million. I've never won it, and I whenever I heard the Arlington might close, I was like, oh man, don't close. I ain't done yet, man. I gotta win that race one time, So I'm hoping I get an opportunity before it's all said and done to have a really live shot in it, because that was the first $1 million race that I was ever around or ever got a chance to see, and it was pretty cool. It'll always stay a race that I want to win. I've been second, but I haven't won it.
No,
I haven't ridden it that many times. I've only ridden it like maybe 4 or 5 times, but I'd like to win it one time.
Well, Illinois is trying to. They just came out today and they said they were trying to convince the the horse racing board or the Illinois Attorney General to file like the suit to get for like an antitrust law with Churchill and try to keep it. Try to keep it.
To keep it. So that's what I'm hoping they keep it, man. Chicago, Arlington Park is just a historical place, man. And then all that's been through, with the fire back in the day. I was there when that happened.
Oof. That was a massive fire. That was scary.
Yeah, I rode during the tents, the following year. We had the tents up there and everything there. So I'd like to go there and win that race one time. I got to get a hold of some big time grass trainers. I'm going to call Chad Brown up and tell him, hey, Duddy, I need to win this race before it's all said and done. Throw me on one of them on.
Exactly. All right. We got a campaign for Mike Smith to run this Arlington Million this year.
Yeah, there you go. You know what though? No one's feeling bad for Mike Smith not winning this. I guess they tell you, Mike. No one's feeling bad.
I'm looking for some sympathy. Hey, you know what? It's okay though. That's what you call a personal thing. It's something that I care about. I know I cares about it, but it matters a whole lot to me.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
And that's all that matters.
There's people out there right now going, "Oh, poor Mike Smith."
Poor Mike Smith. He needs.
Look at your resume.
16,000.
He
needs 16,001 grade ones now.
Yeah. Louis Sayas just texted me actually and told me to tell you, go screw you.
That's what you call a personal problem. You know what? But it matters to me. That's when only you care about it. No one else really gives a shit. But it matters a lot to me.
That'd be great. That'd be great if you do win it because I'll remember.
Oh, Tom Brady didn't win his 8th Super Bowl. Oh, poor Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny, but that's what makes you who you are, Mike. That's the thing. You carry that chip.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You gotta have that. You gotta have it. Once those run out, then what do you have?
Yeah, right. That's what you live for. That's what you fight for.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, I know. Sarah's got something she wants to say. You have a couple fans out there that.
We have
just a couple.
Well, no, but specific.
No.
Like 5.
Is it my mother and my brother calling in?
It's your alien mother. No,
yeah.
She no.
The Martian mother.
You wouldn't understand her text, and trust me, only we understand it. You understand it. It's a high tech text, It's some pretty weird shit.
But if I see the tip of your finger start glowing, I'm gonna we're gonna end it right here.
Light comes down, Mike disappears.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. No, but we have a fan of our show. His name is Eric Barnard, and him and his girls. He has two young girls. They're big fans of yours. One of his girls is she has Rett syndrome, which is a genetic mutation, and it's kind of every second of her life counts. And they had the most precious story, though. He had texted me a picture of his daughter, Brooklyn. He took her to Del Mar. And just to kind of give her a day away from having to deal with, having to take care of her sister and everything. And she was so nervous to meet you. She worked up the courage and you gave her a pair of your goggles and it was the world to her.
Got a picture of him with her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now they hang outside of his daughter who has Rett syndrome. Her name is Emily. And now they hang outside of her bedroom and there's like pictures of her wearing them as well. These goggles, you'll probably never
But I got a whole lot of them. So you just bring the girls back, man. I'd love to give them more, man. I
Well, when
saddle my boots. If I had a horse, I'd give her a horse.
and I was wondering if you could just give Eric and Brooklyn and Emily a shout out on our show. They're huge fans of yours, and you really touched their lives a lot.
Yeah, man, I would absolutely love to see them all again. Del Mar's coming back soon. They're letting fans back in. So good Lord's willing, man, you guys can make it up there. And if you do, man, somehow get a hold of me, guys. And I'd love to take you guys out to dinner, man. That'd be great.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there.
Yeah, we
yes.
love it. We were lucky enough, last summer.
Please let them know that too as well. Love to see him again.
Yeah, I will. And it's, all the stories we hear about people that have met you are the most inspiring stories. They just speak so highly of you. And I was like, there has to be like one bad story of Mike Smith. Like, oh, he was angry this day. But there's not. Everyone speaks so incredibly highly of you and how you always take your time to either take a picture or even just to say hi.
I think that's the alien part of me, maybe that comes out.
He's trying to fit in.
Smile and take that picture.
Yeah,
really
he's trying to fit into human life here, guys.
Yeah, trying to fit in.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Well, thank you. We won't take up any more of your time. Like, this was great.
No, this was great.
The sad thing is, I'm only mean to my family, man. I'm good to everyone. I bet my family's all typing in right now. He's an asshole. What are you talking about, man? He did this.
Guy, uninvited from the rest of the family holidays. Like, don't show up, Mike. Please don't.
Somebody walks around like my parents or something. They're like, your son's such a nice guy. They shake their head and they're like,
no, he's not.
Yeah, well, he's got you fooled, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh, Mike, this was great. So I gotta go though, because I gotta get in my car so I can make it down to your place for dinner.
Yeah, hey man, we're having some filet mignon and my wife's cooking filet and having a little glass of wine. It's gonna be nice.
When are you going to New York?
I'll leave. We leave next Wednesday, so we leave. Next Wednesday morning.
Perfect.
So get there a couple of days ahead of time and maybe get a chance to see some friends, back there. I hope anyway.
Oh, good. Well, we'll see you this weekend then.
Yeah,
we'll be at
see you
Santa
Monday.
Anita.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me to Monday?
Yeah, I got a couple of horses. I work with my racehorse, so I have a couple of horses.
Yeah, I'll see you out there Monday then. We'll get together soon, man. I'd love to hang out with you guys one night.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, definitely. Mike, thank you so much. This was great.
Thanks for having me on anytime. Just you got my number. Call me.
All right, Mike. Good luck this weekend and this coming up in Belmont and everything like that.
Yes, have a safe ride, safe trip out there, and we'll look forward to seeing you this weekend.
All right, man. God bless. Amen. We'll see y'all later.
Thanks, all right, Mike. See you, Mike.
All right, bye-bye.
Well,
that was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike Smith, for coming on. That was great.
Oh,
yeah, it's fun to talk to. We found out his actual origins.
We did.
Which was exciting to find that out. We always kind of wondered.
And it's kind of perfect timing, though, as we find that out about Mike Smith. And tomorrow, June 1st, they are going to be releasing the FBI documents about are UFOs, do UFOs exist or not?
It's kind of crazy, just the timing of everything.
I know.
Yeah, but no, it was interesting. And Mike Smith on a horse, he talks about it a little bit in the Belmont, and that's exciting for him too. It's funny. I was thinking about this after the interview, that basically it was, hey, Mike, if you ride this horse, but here's the thing, you got to ride our other horses too. It's like this bonus deal of being like, you know what?
Okay.
Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, well, but you're still Mike Smith, where you're just like, oh, you got me. Now you got me on 5 rides because I want this Belmont.
Well,
ride.
If you're gonna be there the whole day, do you want to just ride the one?
Well, I'm pretty sure Mike Smith could
especially on a day like Belmont, all the races are gonna pay a shit ton of money.
I'm pretty sure he could be in every race.
Like that's a payday for him, regardless.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he could have went there and picked any horse he wanted.
Like I said, it's Mike Smith.
Most horses. I don't know.
You own a horse and you get a call from his agent saying, hey, Mike wants to ride your horse. Oh my God, that's the simplest answer I have to give all day. Obviously, it's going to be yes.
Like, I don't know,
like,
Mike.
Mike.
Now that I found out you're not actually all human,
that changes the playing field.
Like, did we break the news of like there's an alien living among us?
We did.
Like,
we
think we did.
Ahead of the FBI.
Bam! Suck it, FBI.
Suck it. This is why the triple clowns exist.
This video might get taken down because I just said "suck it, FBI."
Oh my goodness. No, but that was great to finally get Mike Smith on our show. He's such an incredible person.
Yeah, what a cool dude.
What an incredible
cool
journey he's had riding all over the nation and all over the world, really. And for his health at his age, my God.
And let's keep Arlington around so he can get that Arlington million.
Yes.
Like, let's keep that around.
We need to start the
Come on, Churchill. Let's go.
I feel like Mike Smith's the only person that Illinois would be like, hey guys, Mike Smith still hasn't won it. Let's keep it open.
Yeah.
Mike Smith's the only person that could maybe do that.
Yeah.
They might keep it open for Mike Smith. But Mike Smith, that was a great time. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yes, very much.
And for us at the Triple Clowns from DGen Nation, see you later,
See you later, everybody.